What even are we doing here? Have you ever woken up, stared at the ceiling, and thought, what am I even doing here? Welcome to the club. Life is a strange game where no one explains the rules, and the instructions are written in a language you can't quite understand, sort of like trying to assemble furniture while blindfolded. But let's be real. If life came with a manual, would you actually read it? Nah, you'd probably shove it in a drawer, trusting your intuition, or as it's sometimes called, winging it, to guide you through. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we're all just fumbling our way through, hoping that the universe will eventually reveal its secrets, like some cosmic game show host pulling back the curtain. But until then, we ask, what's the point? Now, imagine for a moment that there is a point, that somewhere in the chaos of existence there's a purpose hiding, like your keys in that one drawer where you never think to look. What if the universe isn't just a giant random mess, but instead a highly organized mess with some deeply hidden order? Yeah, I know, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but stick with me here. The ancient Hermetics had this wild idea that everything, like literally everything, is connected. They called this the All, which sounds ominous, but it's basically their way of saying, hey, everything's part of one big thing, and that thing is everything. Simple, right? And they thought that the All was more than just atoms and energy. It was also mind. Yup, they believed the universe itself is mental, as in, it's one big mind. So, what's the takeaway? Maybe you're not just a random collection of atoms and awkward social interactions. Maybe you're a part of something much, much bigger. And if that doesn't make you feel a little less insignificant, well, I've got bad news. It's going to get weirder from here. Why do I feel so weird about this whole being alive thing? Ever have one of those days where you look in the mirror and think, who is this person and why do it look so tired? It's like your body is some weird rental that you're only partially responsible for. Sure, you can dress it up, maybe take it for a jog every now and then. But deep down, you know it's just the temporary meat suit you've been issued for this particular existential trip. The Hermetics divided humans into 3 parts: the body, that aforementioned meat suit, the soul, your emotional roller coaster, and the spirit, the part of you that probably knows all the answers but isn't sharing. The body is easy enough to understand. It's the part that wants pizza, coffee, and sleep, sometimes all at the same time. The soul? Well, that's the part that gets offended when someone cuts in line at the grocery store. But the spirit? That one's tricky. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands, fleeting and hard to define, but definitely there. Here's the kicker. The Hermetics believed that these 3 parts are in constant communication, like an awkward family reunion that never ends. The body's all like, let's indulge in some carbs and binge watch our favorite shows, while the soul's over here having an existential crisis, and the spirit's just silently judging everyone. It's no wonder you feel weird sometimes. Your very existence is a group project, and you've got some serious overachievers and slackers in the mix. But if you can get these 3 parts to play nice, something amazing happens. You start to feel like maybe, just maybe, you've got a shot at this whole being a functional human thing. Or at the very least, you'll be better equipped to handle the next grocery store line cutter with a bit more grace. Is there something more to this spark people talk about? Okay, let's get a little mystical here. Don't worry, I promise not to make you chant or burn sage, unless you're into that, in which case, go for it. Have you ever heard someone say you've got a spark? No, not the kind you get from dragging your feet on the carpet and then touching a doorknob. I'm talking about that inner spark, the one that makes you, well, you. The Hermetics believed that every person has this divine spark within them, a tiny piece of the cosmic mind, the All. They saw it as a connection to something greater, a way to bridge the gap between the mundane and the divine. It's like having Wi-Fi that connects directly to the universe, but the connection is a little spotty, and you keep forgetting the password. This spark isn't something you can see, touch, or taste, but it's there, nudging you every now and then. Maybe when you're watching a sunset, or hearing your favorite song, or during those rare moments when life actually makes sense for half a second. The trick, according to the Hermetics, is to attune your soul to this spark, like tuning a radio to a station that's not just static. So, how do you attune your soul? Meditation? Mindfulness? Deep conversations at 2 a.m. when the world feels both impossibly small and incomprehensibly vast? Sure, all of the above. But really, it's about listening, to yourself, to others, to the world around you. Because that spark? It's trying to tell you something, and it might just be worth listening to. Why does everything seem so complicated? Life is messy. Like, really messy. It's like trying to untangle a giant ball of Christmas lights that someone threw in a box and then kicked down the stairs. But what if that mess isn't just random chaos? What if it's some kind of cosmic dance, where every step, every misstep, is all part of the choreography? The Hermetics had this idea that existence itself is a kind of alchemy, a transformation of the mind, body, and spirit as they interact with each other. Picture it like a complicated love triangle, but with more metaphysical implications and less drama. The mind isn't just a passive observer in this dance, it's a participant, influencing and being influenced by both the body and the soul. Think of your mind as the DJ at this existential party, setting the mood, picking the tracks, and occasionally skipping songs when things get too weird. It's constantly spinning records, trying to find the right balance between the soulful melodies of the spirit and the heavy beats of the body. And sometimes it nails it. Sometimes everything just clicks. And for a brief moment, life feels perfectly in sync. But more often than not, the mind fumbles the playlist, the body trips over its own feet, and the soul is left standing awkwardly in the corner, wondering what it's supposed to be doing. And that's okay. The dance isn't about getting it right all the time. It's about learning, evolving, and occasionally laughing at yourself when you inevitably step on your own toes. Is it all just in my head? All right. Here's a question that might make your brain hurt. What if the entire universe is just a construct of your mind? I know. It sounds like the kind of question a philosophy major asks after one too many energy drinks. But bear with me. The Hermetics had this wild idea called the principle of mentalism. Essentially, they believed that the all is mind, meaning the universe itself is mental, a thought, an idea. Think of it as one big, cosmic brain, and we're all just thoughts within it. Yeah, I told you this was going to get weird. But here's the thing. If the universe is mental, then that means your mind has a lot more power than you might think. It's not just a passive receiver of reality, it's an active participant. Your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs, they shape the world around you, or at least how you experience it. So, does that mean you can just think your way to a better life? Maybe, maybe not. It's not about wishful thinking or manifesting a new car, though, hey, if that works, more power to you. It's about realizing that your mind has a role to play in how you navigate the world. It's about understanding that the stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you hold, they all matter. In the grand scheme of things, you might be just a tiny blip in the universe, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. Your mind is a tool, a powerful one, and like any tool, it's all about how you use it. Am I going to get another shot at this? Life is short. Like, really short. 1 minute you're learning to tie your shoes, and the next, you're wondering if you should start worrying about retirement. It's enough to make anyone a little anxious. But what if this isn't your only shot? What if life is less of a one-time only event and more of a recurring gig? The Hermetics were big on reincarnation, the idea that after you die, you don't just fade into nothingness. You come back, maybe not as yourself, but as someone or something else. Think of it as cosmic recycling. Your soul gets another shot, and another, until it finally gets things right, whatever right means. But reincarnation isn't just about coming back. It's about growth, evolution. Each life is a new opportunity to learn, to experience, to make different mistakes. It's like playing a video game with infinite lives, except, with slightly higher stakes. The purpose? Who knows? Maybe it's to learn something important, or maybe it's just to keep things interesting. Either way, it's a comforting thought. Even if you mess up this time around, there's always another chance. So, what's the takeaway here? Maybe don't stress so much about getting everything perfect. Life is messy, chaotic, and confusing, but that's part of the fun. And if you screw up, well, there's always the next round. Is there a point to all this rambling? So, we've talked about the body, the soul, and the spirit, about the mind's role in shaping reality, and the possibility of coming back for another round in this wild game of existence. But where does that leave us? What's the point of all this rambling? Here's the thing. Life is a mystery wrapped in a riddle wrapped in an enigma, and then deep fried for good measure. No one has all the answers. Not the Hermetics, not the philosophers, not even that one friend who always seems to have their life together. But maybe the point isn't to find all the answers. Maybe the point is to keep asking questions, to stay curious, to keep exploring. In the end, life is what you make of it. It's a choose-your-own-adventure story, and you're the protagonist. Sure, it's confusing and often nonsensical, but that's part of the charm. So go ahead, ask the big questions, ponder the mysteries, embrace the weirdness. Because in the grand scheme of things, we're all just trying to make sense of the chaos, one awkward dance step at a time. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. If you like the content here at Telos, please consider to share. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to stay connected and never miss out on my future videos. If you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee, link in the description, or send super thanks. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your support.